grew up in Minneapolis, and now what's it like? You grow up. Were there many kids that were Korean?
No.
Okay.
There were many kids that were white. That was pretty much it. But there were some other Korean adoptees, because this is a funny thing that a lot of people don't know, is that there are over 15,000 Korean adoptees in the state of Minnesota. I have my theories as to why. We don't need to get into that because it's just going to piss off more people. But Christian people like to adopt people. Okay, and there are a lot of Christians in Minnesota. The main adoption agencies that facilitate international adoptions are church-based.
Okay.
Like Lutheran Social Services, Holt, which is Holt. The Holt family is the one who pioneered the whole Korean adoption. I was adopted through Holt, and they're, Christian organization. So I think that's one of the reasons why there's so many in Minnesota. There's a lot of people. I don't know, and I just think, too, it's just like anything else. Your neighbor gets an Atari, and you're like, oh, man, what a cool Atari. Where'd you get that? We got it at Kmart, and then you're gonna go to Kmart and get an Atari too, and all of a sudden everybody in your neighborhood has an Atari, and you're like, hey. So I kind of think that sort of happens too, to a certain extent, where there are definitely pockets where people adopt, and it just becomes that this is more common and accepted there. So Atari.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So speaking of accepted, did you feel like everything was just fine? Everybody got along well?
No, I had really cool friends.
Okay.
I mean, I had my little core group of friends, just like anybody. You got your buddies that are your best friends and stuff. I had really cool friends who were, just typical friendships and normal and stuff like that, and came from nice homes. And one of my really best friends had a little sister who was adopted from Korea, and so. But, I mean, even with all of that, there's just, when you are the other living in a very homogeneous society, community, you're just going to face ignorance, and you're going to come across just weirdness. You're always going to be the other, and then, unfortunately, sometimes you run into full-on racism as well, and that can happen anywhere, but it's a lot more pronounced when you are the, chip in the cookie, right? So, I mean, I definitely felt different. I didn't like being different. I didn't like who I was. I hated the way I looked. I was embarrassed by the way I looked. When you're a kid, all you want is to be like your friends. You want to wear the same clothes. You want to eat the same food. You want to get the same haircut. You want to do what's cool, and I did not feel like I looked cool. And it's funny because I think if I talk to my friends now, and I'm still friends with a lot of my friends I grew up with, they're kind of, their general sense is I had no idea you felt that way. I never would have guessed that. You seem so confident and just like the rest of us and everything. But I don't think they really understood, just small things that I experienced on a day-to-day basis, how it really, kind of eats away at you a little bit, over time. And so, I mean, I made a very conscious decision to leave the Midwest because I just was so tired of it. And I have a lot of friends of color or whatever, who are some minority status, who live in the Midwest and are still dealing with those issues. And I'm not saying that I don't deal with those issues here in California, but it's not common. I mean, you're just so anonymous here. Nobody gives a crap about who you are here, and I love it. You can look, you can do whatever you want, and nobody takes a second look because it's all here.
That's what I like about LA.
I love it.
And when I leave it, I miss that right away.
Yeah.
Because you almost can travel the world in some respects just because you meet people from all over the world.
Yeah. People here never go to me what are you? Or, they don't care because there's a million people who look like me in their neighborhood or at their grocery store. It's just, it really is a nice kind of melting pot here of just all types. And you can fly your freak flag as big as you want here. And generally, people don't really even give it a second thought.
Well, outside of Seoul, Koreatown has the largest concentration of Koreans in the world.
It does. And it's funny, I like to go into K-Town and eat. I love Korean food, and sometimes I'll walk around and I'm like, one of these people could be my mom. I just wonder, you never know. She could have made it over here, and She's just walking around. I'm gonna look for people who look like me. I've never met anybody that looked like me other than my own daughter. So I had to make a person. But it is a weird thing, like, to kind of immerse myself in that little community, big community, and then feel like I'm part of it, but I'm still outside of it.